Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Oriole Park at Camden Yards, home of the Baltimore Orioles. And this is the annual Dream Week reunion game. Dream Week first took place back in 1986, some 32 years ago. This game features Tackett's Troublemakers against Voigt's Vultures, and the first batter is Matt Pasternak. Takes pitch for a ball. Pasternak is in his 7th Dream Week, works in the IT field. And as both he and Jeff Tackett humbly say to each other, Matt's Jeff's favorite player. Here comes the pitch. He takes it for another ball.
Looks like Chris Custer on the mound.
Throwing the pitches is Chris Custer. Pasternak takes it for a strike. We got a 3-1 count.
It looks like Brian Molesky is catching.
Yep, Custer, wearing number 6, delivers the next pitch for another called strike. So he starts off his first batter with a
Punch up.
Oh, check that. That was strike 3. Now coming to the plate, Josh Jeppy. Another father-son combination. He's been coming down for years, playing with his dad, Steve Jeppy.
He has a runner.
Takes first pitch for a strike. Swing and a miss. Josh does media work and streaming work for the Diamond Comic Book Distribution Company, which is a family business. He's also one of the managers of the Jeppy Entertainment Museum. And Mr. Custer gets him as well for a second out of the inning. And now his dad, Steve Jeppy, comes to the plate, batting from the right side, wearing number 28. Steve first started playing Dream Week in 1987.
That was my first year.
That was both of our first years, Dave. We played with Steve in 1987, 31 years ago. He's still playing, and we're in the broadcast booth.
Well, he was much younger than we were at the time. I think he probably still is.
I don't know. He's just a little behind me at 67 years old. But he just loves the time with his son playing on the ball field. And here's the pitch to Steve.
I think the pitcher's afraid of him.
Yeah.
Won't give him anything to hit.
Chris Custer, the pitcher, he played in 1984 for the Martinsburg, West Virginia team and advanced to within 1 game of the Little League World Series. Imagine that, Dave.
Wow.
He wears number 6 at Dream Week because that was also his Little League number. And during this past Dream Week, he hit 2 inside the park home runs. And Rob Overstreet is coming to the plate. Number 25. Rob came to Dream Week as a Christmas gift from his wife, Christine. And she surprised him by flying down for the last 2 days of his Dream Week experience this year. He's a 32-year federal government employee, Rob Overstreet. Ooh. Outside corner for a call strike. One of his highlights was a late-inning diving play at shortstop to squelch a rally at Ed Smith Stadium. There's a swing and a miss for a strike. He played baseball up until he was 16 years old, and then he went and switched to softball. But I think he's back to baseball. He actually tells us he was a better basketball player than a baseball player, and he had a 4-year high school career shooting hoops. He's very active in the game, and he umpires from March through October every year. His greatest memory of Dream Week this year was having a chance to have chats with Joe Orsulak every day, which is one of his favorite Oriole players. And here's the pitch to Rob. Takes it for a ball and takes the walk, advancing to second and to first. We've got 2 runners on base for the Troublemakers. And now coming up is Chuck Schwartz. Mr. Slick at shortstop. You would just see the stats and see the way he played, and you think about Mark Belanger. He just didn't miss anything at Dream Week, had no errors at shortstop. He's a former Baltimore County Public Schools worker, and his boss, John Shirk, said to him, "Hey, if I come to Dream Week, will you come with me?" And he said, "Sure." And both of them came and played together.
How about that?
He had the nickname of Schwartzy, and also because of his long golden locks, everybody referred to him as Randy Johnson.
Going a whole week at fantasy camp with no errors is quite a feat.
Oh, yeah, he was really good. In fact, he would tell us that, I'll tell you after this pitch, he would tell us that his grandmother once said to him, "Chuck, you're play good enough to be a pro." And when Dream Week was over, he said, "Well, Grandma, this is the closest I'll ever get." And now he's playing on a professional field and just drew a walk. So we have the sacks juiced with 2 outs. And next coming up is Les Schreiber. Les came to camp on a 50th birthday gift from his wife. He works in the Educational Testing Service in Princeton, New Jersey. He actually manages a series of tests in physical and health education for teachers in the entire country. His greatest accomplishment for Dream Week? I made it through the week injury-free. He did play some in high school and college, and he was scouted by both the Cincinnati Reds and back then the Montreal Expos. His next pitch to Les. Swing and a miss on the inside. He's a college hockey player, and he coached college hockey after that for almost 25 years. He tells us he went to his first Orioles game in 1975, and 5 of the pros instructing at Dream Week played in that game. Swing, foul tip, held on for the thing.
That is a weird inning. 3 strikeouts and 3 walks.
3 strikeouts, 3 walks, no runs scored. And that's the top of the first inning. Now we're going to play the top of the second inning. And Jim Truitt will take over the pitching duties for VoigtsVultures. Another little tidbit about Les Schreiber that he shared with us is that his wife taught both Brad Brock and former Orioles Val Majewski in high school. And now we have the top of the second inning. The batter is Steve Berry, who hits a ground ball. Fielded and caught for the out at first base. One down.
Next batter, Dave Reeder.
Dave Reeder coming to the plate, number 26. Longtime Dream Week player. Hits a ground ball to second base. It's through the hole and into right field for a base hit for Dave. Dave comes to us from the Eastern Shore of Maryland, where he's a doctor.
Julie Berger.
Next batter is Julie Berger. Takes ball on the inside for pitch. Julie's profession is dentistry, and she hits a foul ball down the first baseline. Her parents came to watch her play. This is her second Dream Week, and all the time they're there, they're constantly worried about her damaging her hands and not being able to work as a dentist. Swings and misses down on a call third strike.
Earl Blake.
Earl Blake at the plate. He's attending his second camp, and he calls himself a proud 70-year-old still playing baseball. He couldn't see very well in the first camp, and when he was pitching, he couldn't see the catcher's signals. Earl ended up getting a cornea transplant after the camp, and he came back again this past year because he wanted to be able to see what he was missing. Swing and a strike. He's a 22-year retired Army warrant officer. He retired in 2011 as a senior medical equipment and space planner for the Office of the Army Surgeon General. And he goes down on strikes. So at the end of the second top half of the inning, no score. And we're back for the bottom of the first inning. Pitching for Tackett's Troublemakers is Chuck Schwartz. Chuck has just had a wonderful Dream Week this year. He throws multiple pitches. He throws often in a submarine style. And he's going to be facing Sam McGee.
Josh Sheppy is catching.
And Sam hits a foul ball into the seats behind the first base dugout. Sam was very impressive, making diving plays and catches while playing third base at Dream Week, and he was voted to the Dream Week All-Star team. Old Chuck out there on the mound really impressed Jim Palmer with not only his submarine pitching, but his submarine breaking ball. He got together with Greg Olson, who said, "You need another pitch," and Greg showed him how to throw a changeup. There's a shot by McGee to center field. It's going to clear the center fielder's head. He's rounding first, heading for second. He's going to make it easily with a stand-up double. Next batter coming up is Chris Custer. Chris's biggest thrill down at Dream Week was being able to play for Tippy Martinez, who was his favorite all-time Oriole pitcher. He was tickled to death to get some private batting instructions from Al Bunbury, and his lunchtime conversations with Jim Palmer he labels as priceless. Chris Custer, here's the pitch. Takes it outside for a ball. We have a 1-1 count, runner on second base. No outs, no score. Here's Chuck Schwartz's pitch to Custer, who pops it up. Catcher's underneath it and makes the grab.
Batting third, number 3, Jim Molesky. Jim Molesky.
It's interesting. This is Jim Molesky,
Right.
right?
Yep, Jim Molesky up to the bait. One of 3 Moleskys playing on this team. Again, another family affair coming down to play ball at Dream Week.
Number 3.
Swings and hits a ground ball to third. Takes a look. Jeppy throws it over to first base. Records the out at first base, and we get an advance to third. So Salmon's at third base. We got 2 outs in the inning. And Jim Truitt should be coming to the plate.
Number 4, Jim Truitt.
Jim Truitt coming up, nicknamed Jimmy T in Dream Week this year. He's from Whaleyville, Maryland. Went 11 for 30 in Dream Week with a batting average of .366. Third baseman. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Hitting from the right side of the plate, wearing number 54. Schwartz is ready, delivers a pitch to Truitt. Takes the pitch for a ball. He hits the ball through the hole between first and second for a base hit. Right fielder fields it, but a run scores. We have our first run on the board as Sam McGee crosses the plate.
Next up, number 1, Barry Page.
Now batting young lady Mary Cage. Foul ball. Mary's an interesting player. She came down as a guest and watched Dream Week with her guy, Joe Fillmore, for 2 years and finally said, you know what, I'm going to play. And this year she came down as a participant rather than a fan. And her favorite thing about camp was everybody, staff, pros, and other participants just accepted her into the camp as a beginning baseball player, made her feel welcome, encouraged her. Fouls off a pitch, 0-2. And Al Bunbury nicknamed her Blondie. And she goes down on strikes. Now batting with a big crowd in attendance, rooting for him, is Jeff Dickens. He's a mechanical engineer who came to Dream Week as a 40th birthday gift.
This is the next inning now, is it not? Isn't this the bottom of the 4th or bottom of the 2nd? Because there have been 3 outs. Custer, Molesky, and Gage all made out.
Yep. This is the bottom of the second. That's correct. So Jeff is here for his 40th birthday, and he's along with his father celebrating his 70th birthday. Jeff played Little League ball, club ball at the University of Maryland, and then on to softball. Powerball. He said if he ever played to the point where they would give him walk-up music at the plate, he would want to select the theme from the Indiana Jones movies. Jeff ran the Baltimore Marathon in 2016. But once again in the family tradition, outside for a ball, once again in the family tradition, his highlight was completing a 1-6-3 double play with him at shortstop and his father at first base. Swing and a miss. Jeff goes down. Now we got number 52, Mike Molesky, coming to the plate. Again, one of multiple Moleskys playing on the team. And Schwartz looks in for the sign. He's got it. Wines, kicks, and deals, and here's the pitch. Taken inside for a ball. 2-0 is the count. 1 out. VoigtsVultures up 1-0 over Tackett's Troublemakers. Bottom of the second inning. Pitch taken for a strike. Number 13 toes the rubber. Winds up, kicks and deals again. Ball's inside. Got a 3-1 count here. Good hitter's count, Dave. What do you think Mike's going to do if he sees a strike?
I think he'll swing at it.
I sure hope so. Here it comes. Takes it inside for ball 4, and he earns a base on balls. Now here comes Dad, Fred Dinkins. Happy 70th birthday, Fred. Where's number 5? Here's a pitch from Schwartz. Taken for a strike. Infield's playing straight away for Mr. Dickens. And here's the pitch. Swung on, hit a ground ball to short second base. He's rushing to beat it out, and he does. Bobble just a little bit, and Fred gets a base. 2 runners on, 1 out.
Hooray for the geriatric set.
Now Alice Slisser is up to bat.
Oh, she brought her own helmet.
Oh, there's a fun story about Alice, Dave. Alice tried to send her son in his 30s down to Dream Week, but he was unavailable to come. Then she learned out that women participated, and she said, I'm going to come. However, she knew very little bit about baseball, but discovered an Eastern Women's Baseball Conference team. And the members of the team said, come join us, we'll teach you about the game and prepare you to go to Dream Week. So she started playing baseball. She was assigned to a team called the Baltimore Blues, played as much as she could to get ready for Dream Week. She tried to come in 2016, here's the pitch, and she hits a ground ball down the first baseline. Chuck throws it to first base, gets her out, but a game run indeed, trying to beat out a base hit. More on Alice a little later.
Next up, number 8, Brian Molesky.
And one more Molesky coming to the plate. This time it's Brian. And here's Schwartz's pitch. Swung on. Fouled into the right field area. David landed right about where my season tickets are.
Alice moved the runners over, you know. That's
Yep.
not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Single now scored. Well, might
You're
score
right.
2
Alice
runs.
hit down the first baseline behind 2 runners, advancing them to second and third with 2 outs. Brian steps in there, hoping to plate these 2 runs. Pitch from Schwartz is swung on. Ground ball is short pop. Short picks it up, throws it over to first. Cleanly caught for the out. And at the end of 2 innings of play, score Voigts Vultures 1, Tackett's Troublemakers nothing. And we're back for the top of the 3rd inning. Jeff Dickens pitching for Voigts Vultures.
Mike Molesky behind the plate.
Mike Molesky behind the plate. And the batter is Larry Stuber. Swings and misses for a strike. Hits a ground ball down the third baseline. Just over the bag, first baseman picks it up. It's a long throw to first.
Dave.
But he's in there safely. Beats out an infield hit. Larry Stuber. This was Larry's 3rd Dream Week. Was here in 2014, 16, and 18. Was coached by Mike Boddicker twice, and this past year by Jeff Tackett. Coming up for his second at bat, Matt Pasternak.
Struck out looking the first time up. See if we can get some wood on the ball this time.
I'll tell you, Dave, he's been down here for 7 Dream Weeks, and if you just go around camp, you'll find that Matt usually has a kind word for everybody. He really looks for good things in people, compliments folks on a good play, picks them up if they have a down play. Foul ball, back to the Skates.
Well, that points out the thing that's so great about fantasy camp is the camaraderie. After you've been there 3 or 4 years, you get to know pretty near everybody on all the teams.
Yes, you do.
And I've had more than one person tell me the favorite part of their day at the park or day to play down there was the handshake at the end of the game, because you get a chance to commiserate or whatever with both your teammates and your opponents.
Pasternak draws a walk. Now batting Josh Jeppy. He's got a little bit of an ill wheel, and he's got a runner running for him. And here's the pitch to Jeppy. It's really interesting, Dave. He's wearing number 21. You would think Josh would wear number 7. You want to know why?
And why is that?
His favorite beverage is old number 7 Jack Daniels. And in the course of a Dream Week, between sharing and consuming, he consumes more Jack Daniels than anybody in camp. Maybe he's wearing 21 because that's 3 times 7. What do you think, Dave? Hits a fly ball for the out.
You're going too fast for me.
Huh?
That's too much for me.
Yeah. Here comes his dad, Steve Jeppy, to the plate.
Does Jack Daniels keep walking? No, that's Johnny Walker.
Steve is at the plate. Here's the pitch.
Harper, it's always a pleasure. All right.
It's nice to see Steve still out there, still playing, still competing.
Absolutely.
31 years after the first time he played. Oh, he got struck by the pitch. And he's going to go with the strategy of the team and take the free base rather than take another swing. Of course, Steve has the Jeppy Entertainment Museum just outside the ballpark on the north side above the old train station. You ever been there, Dave?
Yes.
Isn't it a fascinating place to just recall memories of all of our years of life?
Walk into one of those rooms and say, "This is my youth. This is me."
Yeah.
That's
Rob Overstreet is at the plate.
yeah, it's well worth a trip.
His favorite time and accomplishment down at Dreamweek this year was pitching 1 1/3 scoreless innings when we played against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and also picked off a runner. His takeaway from the week, it was much more than he thought it would be. And he said the stories that were shared by the former Oriole pros were priceless. Swing and a miss. Had a good day the second day of Dream Week, collecting 4 hits that day. Rob Overstreet. Mentioned before, his favorite Oriole from years back was Joe Orsolak. And we have a ground ball.
Fair ball.
Called a foul ball.
Oh.
Yeah. As I said, he thought his favorite Oriole was Joe Orsolak, but he said absolutely the funniest Oriole was Greg Olson. And there were lots of Greg Olson stories this year down at Dream Week.
Well, of course, Dempsey
It was his first year, and he made a hit.
Dempsey had to tell everybody about El Wapo, did he not?
Rick Dempsey did tell the El Wapo story. All right, Overstreet's back in there after hitting that ball. It was called a foul.
I heard the El Wapo story gets a little different every year.
Yep. And Overstreet comes through with a base hit through the 5-6 hole. Runner scores. Ball gets away from the third baseman, but an alert pitcher catches it. There's going to be a play. He's down. He does a face plant. The ball gets thrown away to the catcher. Here's another throw to the catcher. He's in safely. Yeah, that'll go on the blooper film. And, of course, the run was scored by Matt Pasternak. Who else?
That's a single.
Look at that. High fives, knuckles, exploding knuckles all around. He goes out. He comes. I think we might get a hug with Tackett. Are we going to get a hug? Yes! And look out. Here comes Chuck Schwartz. And Chuck Schwartz pitches, plays a great short, and hits a baseball. Ball gets away from the catcher. However, there's no stealing or advancing in Dream Week rules. Chuck threw a really nasty pitch in Florida. Got a guy out. And one of the former Oriole players, well, let's take the pitch here. He swings and... Yeah, so Chuck threw a really nasty breaking submarine curveball. Got the guy out. One of the former Oriole players commented as he's coming off the mound. Nice pitch, you blank. There's another foul back. Chuck was really, really touched by comments that he had gotten from former players. He got to know Jeff Tackett, Rich Dower, Alan Mills. And he wanted to thank his wife and son for encouraging him to come to play, and for John Shirk for saying, if I come to play, why don't you come with me? Chuck's going to take the free pass. Base on balls, trots down to first base.
Next up, number 41, Les Schreiber.
And now Les Schreiber is coming to the plate.
1 out, 2 runs in. Sacks jammed. Actually, all he gets 1 more.
Interesting, another tidbit about Les. Former Oriole player Jim Hoey threw a no-hitter in high school. Turns out Les was the first base coach during that game. Les also went to high school with special assistant Art Kaplan to GM Dan Duquette. There's a fly ball,
That's going to
left field,
run.
caught. Runner's going to tag.
I think
We have a
it's gonna
throw to the
score run.
plate, not in time. The runner scores safely,
Wow.
and Mr. Schreiber gets an RBI sacrifice fly. Also played a great game at first base and adopted the nicknames of Boog Powell Jr. and Scoop from his pro coaches.
41. Okay. So 3 runs.
We have a threat of nasty weather coming in, so we've been accelerating the games, and we've been playing 6 outs before we switch sides. Steve Berry up. Steve is here as a Christmas present from his family, and it was a bucket list item for him. He worked for Verizon for 28 years, played Little League ball, high school ball, and participated in over 35 league. And Steve hits a ground ball through the hole between first and second base for a clean base hit. Dr. Reeder coming to the place. Dave Reeder takes a pitch for a ball. He's probably the best uniform dresser at Dream Week. He's been back many times, and he's probably got 20 or more different Orioles uniforms. Ground ball to second. Flip to short for 1. Back to first. Got the double
my
play.
Gracious.
Got the double play. Voigts Vultures pulls up a 4-6-3 double play. Good for them. And here comes our team dentist, Julie Berger. Dave, I got to tell you something about Julie. She surprised everybody at camp during the week where there was a drawing made of the ballpark, and within the drawing was the name of every player who ever played at the ballpark. And she had that drawing put together and given to every one of the pros
Oh, my goodness.
before the morning meeting one day,
Wow.
pointing out where their name is on the picture of the stadium.
Well, that was nice.
And there are some players who said the highlight of their week was Julie's generosity to the pro staff.
Isn't that
This
nice?
stuff that comes out of Dream Week that is priceless stuff that
Right.
people take home, and it's not all on the ball field.
And
Here's a pitch to Julie.
There's something like that in every camp. You know, when Mo Drabowski was here, there was always a highlight that was something he did or something, or Sammy Stewart, some of the things that he said. Bless his heart.
Well, if you ever get a chance, there she goes. She, look at that, respectfully takes the bat to another player so she doesn't hit the cherished green grass here. And she hustles down to first base with a walk. But if you're not seeing this artwork, everything that looks like people in the stands and everything around the stands is actually the names of players made to look like fans.
How about that?
Oh, we got a hit by pitch. Earl Blake, old number 70, hit by the pitch. And that'll bring up Larry Stuber.
The batting, number 4, Larry Stewart.
2 outs, 2 on.
Tell Kelly I'm sitting down here in section 36.
Larry had a good dream week, hitting .500 for the week. He was actually 3 for 4 in one game with 3 RBIs. When they played the Pirates, they consolidated some teams, and he joined Rick Dempsey's team for the Pirate game. Was actually involved in picking off a Pirates player. To him, one of the thrills of the week. Takes a call strike. He really enjoyed talking second base defense with Rich Dower. Larry's a retired financial advisor. And if you can believe this, he actually went deer hunting with Mike Boddicker in 2016 as his guest in his home in Iowa. And at the end of that half inning of play, the score is Package Troublemakers 3, Vultures 1. And we're back for action in the bottom of the third inning. Voigts Vultures coming to the plate. Joel Fillmore, the batter. The pitcher's going to be Earl Blake. Earl's an interesting gentleman. He played high school ball, went into the military, and he actually pitched in the Italian Pro League while he was stationed there. And Joe Fillmore at the plate. First pitch to Joe. Taken inside for a ball. Joe had some wheels. He had an inside-the-park home run this year at Dream Week, and he was working on his second one when he pulled a calf muscle after passing first base and could only trot into second. We have a foul ball down the line.
Oh, my. That looked good.
Joe didn't know, and he's still running. Now he's got to come all the way back and do it again. As I started to say, he was working on might have been a second inside-the-park home run, pulled a calf muscle, and just nursed himself into second base. Got his bat back, coming to the plate again for another try. See if he can hit one fair. Here's a pitch to Joe. Outside for a ball. Nice block. Ball back to Earl Blake. Earl's cleaning up a little bit around the rubber. Looks in, gets his sign. And here he goes. He winds and deals, and the pitch is swung on and fouled back by Joe. Joe's business is in the sales of hydraulic hoses and fittings for a company called Cauliflower. Lives in Bel Air and grew up in Edgemere. Went to Edgemere High School. Yep. And he gets a base on balls. Next coming up is Sam McGee.
Doubled in the first inning and scored.
Yeah, once again, he was one of the people selected to the Dream Week All-Star team. Quality player to watch. A nice guy to get to know.
He has the only run so far for the Vultures.
That's right. A little more on Earl Blake. His nickname is WD-40. You know why that is, Dave? He actually uses that product for all his joint pain, along with Blue Emu, Bengay, and a variety of magnetic and copper bracelets.
Sounds like something out of the Wizard of Oz.
He's like right out of the Wizard of Oz. Who knows? But he pitched in all 9 games that he played, and he threw for over 20 innings.
Wow.
His favorite moment, when Scott McGregor came up and told him he did one hell of a job after he came in with the bases loaded and no outs and proceeded to strike out 3 batters. No runs scored.
Wow.
Get me some WD-40. Here's a fly ball by McGee. It's going to drop in the gap between right and left and center field. Runner advances all the way to third base, so we got first and third, no outs. And big Chris Custer coming to the plate.
Vultures on the corners with no out.
Way outside, upside. Chris's biggest thrill about being in Dream Week was playing on a team coached by his favorite all-time pitcher, Tippy Martinez. And he was thrilled to get hitting lessons from Al Bumbry and had some great lunchtime conversations with Jim Palmer. Custer's there with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Blake looks in, takes a sign, toes the rubber, winds, kicks, and deals, and here's the pitch. Swung on and hit foul with a foot save by the third base coach. And get back in the box and we'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. Runners at first and third. Package troublemakers up 3-1, and Custer goes down on swings.
Jim Molesky.
One of the 3 Moleskis on the team coming to bat. This is Jim, wearing number 3.
Grounded out to third the first time up.
Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball. Outside. As I mentioned before, first time Earl came to camp, he couldn't see well, required a cornea transplant, came back again so he could see what was going on. And his comment was, this camp was so much better because I could actually see what I was doing, and I could see the signs from the catcher when I was attempting to pitch. In fact, his eyesight was so good, he speared a shot right back to him as a pitcher and doubled off a runner at first base. I believe his key pitching moment this year was when he had the successful outing by no-hitting Rick Dempsey's very hot baseball team for 3 innings. Not bad for a 70-year-old. There's a fly ball. It's popped up. Shortstop's going back. It looks like it's going to drop in. A run's going to score. And Jim Molesky knocks in a run. Okay, Jim Truitt coming to the mound, to the plate. Hitting from the right side, number 54. Runners at first and second. We've got 1 out. And we got a call strike.
Jim singled in the first inning. Drove in a run.
Jimmy T, as the guy at Dream Week call him. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to count. And then we got a ball. Okay, here's the next pitch. Swung on and hit into the left field. Drops in, fair ball. We're going to have another run scored. Nice piece of hitting. Just drops in there about 2 feet away from the grasp of our left fielder. And now, number 1, Mary Cage coming to the plate.
Two runs in, 1 out, 2 on.
No balls, 2 strikes on Mary. Here's a pitch from Earl. Swinging a ground ball. Back to the pitcher. He's looking at third, and he goes over to first. Makes the play. Mary advances the runners. Good for you. And Jeff Dickens coming to the plate.
Struck out in the first inning.
Yep.
Got 2 ducks on the pond there. Single should score 2 runs. No, we can't do. No, we can get 1 more.
Yeah. Jeff had one of those things happen, David, Dream Week, that we really don't wish on everybody. He had a great week, went through the whole week. His last day, last at bat, he gets hit by the pitch, and then he's among the walking wounded for at least the next 2 weeks after he went back home and went to work. So the memory of Dream Week stayed with him.
Well, I had that problem too, just aches
Oh,
and
yeah.
pains. Yeah, you figure the last day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have 51 weeks to rest up.
Right, but it just reminds me of the last game of the season years ago when a guy named Ryan Howard from the Phillies got hurt and he tore something, and instead of having the last game in the winter off, he spent the whole winter with surgery and rehab.
Oh, boy. Well, if you remember.
But here he is. Jeff's back again playing.
If you remember, I broke my nose on a fly ball from Eddie Watt.
Yes, you did.
In the game against the pros.
A broken nose didn't
Lack
stop
of
you from playing.
communication here.
All right, and he draws a walk. Now we have the sacks juiced. We got a 3-3 ball game and a chance for Voigts Vultures to break it up a little bit. And it's going to be in the hands of Mike Majeski. Mike Molesky coming to the plate, number 52. Again, setting the stage. 2 outs, bases loaded. 3-3 score. Inside and high for ball 1.
From up here, that looks pretty good.
Yes. And here's Earl's pitch. Swung on and a drive to right field. It's going to plate at least 1.
That's all that can do it.
Ball's back in quickly. And they score the maximum number of runs. The bases will clear and will start the bottom of the 4th inning, with Voigts Vultures taking the lead 4-3. So as we get ready to begin the bottom of the 4th, we have a score of Voigts Vultures 4, Tackett's Troublemakers 3. Now we got Rob Overstreet taking over the pitching duties at the mound. Earl Blake's coming off, and I'm not sure if I noticed it correctly, but I think Jeff Tackett had a can of WD-40 that he was handing Earl as he came off the mound. And yes, Jeff Tackett came here all the way from California to be present for his team to play today. How about that? Now we got Fred Dickens up, and he swings and hits a pop just over the first base dugout. Oh, right off the hands of a fan, but he caught it, retained it, and he's thrown it back so they can continue to play.
We're asking our next two teams to be ready to play. This game is in short. We're asking our next two teams to be ready to play. Thank you.
Yeah, Fred stepping in again. Here's the pitch. Swings again. It's a ground ball. Shortstop's got it. Long throw from Schwartz. And he's safe. Good for you. Fred Dickens beats out an infield ground ball at 70 years old.
That's the second hit. He's 2 for 2.
Yep. And here comes Alice Slisser. Back to the Alice story. Once she decided to come down here, she tried to come in 2016, but her husband had an accident. She had to withdraw. Then she tried to come down in 2017. She got an injury and had to withdraw. Finally, 2018, she makes it to Dream Week. Alice is a retired preschool teacher, and her personal accomplishment was getting her first hit and her first RBI in the same game. And she swings and misses and goes down on strikes.
Number 38, Brian Molesky. Number 38.
Now we got Brian Molesky coming to the plate. Runner on first base. Strokes a single into right field, past the right fielder. Runner on first is proceeding to third. Molesky's trying for a double, and he makes it standing up. Second and third, one out. 4-3 ball game. Joe Fillmore coming to the plate. One of Joe's memories of Dream Week was stunning Greg Olson. Greg Olson walked into the trainer's room and found Joe Fillmore and Mary Cage in a iced whirlpool together. Greg just said nothing and walked on, not realizing that though they have different last names, they're a couple. So Mr. and Mrs. put one over and actually was able to render Greg Olson speechless, but only for a few seconds. Here's the next pitch to Joe. Oh! Just inside. Joe came down for his first Dream Week and was so hooked on it that he just continues to come back. And now he's gotten Mary to come with him. Hits a shot up the middle, fielded by the shortstop, but too deep in the hole, and there might be a play at third base. Safe at third.
That's a single. They never would have got him at first.
Oh, yeah. Base hit for Joe Fillmore. Continues his hot hitting. He hit .533 Dream Week this year. And he and Mary are already signed up to come back for the 2019 Dream Week. And here's the pitch. Looks in for the sign. Swung by McGee, and it's popped up. Third base, left field. Third baseman runs into the runner, inadvertent, so there was no obstruction
I don't
called on the
think
play.
Mr. Jeppy would have got over there anyway.
Let's call it the old college try.
Moving in a different time zone.
All right, here's Big Sam, number 2. Here's the pitch. Swung on it, hit another shot to third base. Off of Jeppy's knee. Over to Schwartz at short. No chance to get the runner. Another run scores. Looks like this 6-out stretch is paying off for Voigt's Vultures. They get one more run in, and they're going to have the maximum 6 runs for the 2 half innings of play. Chris Custer coming up. Here we go.
official scorer is scoring that a hit. That was too hot to
Oh,
handle.
yeah. Ooh, Custer swings at a high pitch. 4 strike.
He's fouled out and struck out. I'd say he's due.
He's going for the home run. He's a big boy.
Wonder what it must have been like to be a Little League player and do so well you fall within 1 game of making it to the World Series in Williamsport. That's a memory that Chris has.
Oh, looks like he's going.
Rob got him.
Excuse me.
Strike 3 on Mr. Custer.
This mic over here. Where do you want Steve at? On left?
Yeah. Let the third out happen. Okay, now Jim Molesky to the plate. Hoping to plate that additional run there at second base for the maximum runs per inning available. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Swinging a foul ball. And we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 6-3 score, 2 runners on base, and the pitch. And the sacks are juiced. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners anxious to advance on the next pitch. Here it comes. And it's taken for... I guess it was called no pitch. Everybody's back in there again. He's crowding the plate a little bit. Swings, and he gets him. Gets the K, 3 outs. And at the end of 4 innings of play, the score of VoigtsVultures 6, Package Troublemakers 3. And it looks like that's going to be the end of the game by time limit.